If you ever move into an older house and you discover a door that shouldn't exist, don't open it. I did. And something walked out that's been following me for 3 nights now. If I disappear after posting this, let this be my warning. Beat for silence. Here's what happened in my basement. My name is Daniel. I'm 32, recently divorced, and I did what every heartbroken guy does. I moved somewhere cheap and quiet, hoping life would reset itself. So I bought an old 2-story house in rural Pennsylvania, a place surrounded by woods, miles from the nearest gas station. I didn't mind the isolation until I started understanding what isolation really feels like, especially when something is living in your house and you can hear it breathing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It started on the 4th night. I was in the basement looking for a toolbox. The basement was old, unfinished, dusty, and smelled like wet stone. A single bulb hung from the ceiling, flickering occasionally like it was tired of staying alive. As I searched through an old pile of boxes left by the previous owners, I dropped my flashlight. It rolled into a dark corner. When I bent to grab it, the beam of light fell across something I hadn't seen before, or should I say, something that had never been there. A door. Not just any door, a thin, narrow wooden door with peeling black paint, wedged into the far left corner of the basement. I stepped closer. The wood around its frame didn't match the rest of the basement. The edges looked newly sawed, raw, and splintered, like someone installed this door just days ago, but that made no sense. I had been in this exact basement 2 days earlier. There was no door. I told myself I must have missed it. Stress does weird things to your perception, but as I got closer, something felt wrong. There were scratch marks around the doorknob, long, desperate scratches, as if someone inside had tried to claw their way out. My chest tightened. I should have left it alone. I should have walked back upstairs and called someone, but curiosity is a curse dressed like intelligence. So I opened the door. I expected to see another storage room, maybe a wine cellar, something normal. Instead, a wave of cold air hit me, cold like the inside of a freezer. The room was long and narrow, almost like a hallway with no end. The walls were covered with old wooden panels stained with something dark, and at the very back of the room stood a chair. A heavy steel chair bolted to the ground. Leather straps hung from its arms and legs, torn or cut. Next to it stood a tripod, but the camera was missing. My heart thudded in my ears. Someone had restrained something, or someone here. I scanned the floor and found a small leather-bound notebook, the kind used for research logs. I opened it. The first page had a single sentence. "If you hear it tapping, do not answer." My breath caught. The second page had a date, April 18, 1999. Subject is becoming aware. Response to knocks increases. Do not engage. Subject, engage. This wasn't a storage room. This was some kind of containment cell. I flipped further. May 2, tapping has resumed. It mimics voices now. May 9, door must remain locked. It learns quickly. May 14, do not let it out. Even if it knows your name. I froze. Someone had trapped something here, and if these notes were real, it was still here. Once upstairs, I slammed the basement door shut and pushed a chair under the doorknob. I couldn't stop shaking. That night at 2:17 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Tap, 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 slow, rhythmic, coming from the floorboards under my bed. For a moment I lay frozen, listening. Then a voice, a whisper, a child's voice. "Is someone there?" My blood turned cold. The notebook's warning flashed in my mind. It mimics voices now. I didn't answer, I didn't move, I didn't breathe. The tapping grew faster, angrier. Then it stopped. After 15 minutes, I heard slow footsteps moving toward the far side of the basement, like something was retreating. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, the basement door was open. The chair I had pressed under it was pushed aside, not knocked over, pushed. Like someone carefully moved it out of the way. I crept downstairs. The hidden door in the basement was open too. And the notebook that I had left upstairs on my kitchen counter, was sitting on the steel chair inside that room. But even worse was the new message written in fresh ink. "Why won't you answer, Daniel?" I dropped the notebook and ran upstairs, slamming the basement door behind me. My hands were shaking as I locked it. The tapping started again immediately, furious, rapid, as if whatever was inside knew I was on the other side. That evening when the sun went down, I heard it again. Not tapping this time, whispering right behind the basement door. "Daniel, it's cold, let me out." I covered my ears. It didn't matter. The voice seeped through the wood like fog. It wasn't asking anymore. It was learning how to convince me. On the third night, the power went out. Not the entire house, only the basement lights. I stood at the top of the stairs, holding a flashlight that flickered with every breath I took. Something was breathing down there, long, deep inhalations, as if drawing in the scent of the air. I stepped down 2 stairs, then another. When my flashlight beam landed on the basement floor, I froze. The footprints. Small, muddy footprints leading from the hidden door to the stairs. To where I was standing, and directly in front of me at the bottom of the staircase, something stood there. I didn't see its face. Only a silhouette, thin, bent, arms too long. Head tilted like a curious dog. It whispered, "Daniel, answer me." I ran. I didn't look back. I bolted upstairs and out the front door, sprinting barefoot into the cold night until my lungs burned. I stayed in my truck until sunrise. When I finally worked up the courage to go back inside, the basement door was open. Every room smelled like damp wood and something metallic. The creature was gone, but not far. Because that night when I tried to sleep at a friend's house, I heard it again. Tap, tap, tap against the window on the 2nd floor. I left Pennsylvania the next morning. I'm writing this from a motel 2 states away. But I know it followed me. Last night something tapped at my motel door, 3 taps, slow, familiar. And then it spoke, through the gap under the door in that same broken voice. "Daniel, now it's your turn in the room." I shoved the dresser against the door, trembling. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know who trapped it in my basement before me. But I know one thing, it doesn't stop. It doesn't sleep. And it won't stop until I answer. If you're listening to this, if you ever find a door in your home that wasn't there before, don't open it. Don't touch it. Don't even acknowledge it. Because once it knows your name, it never forgets. Fade out with slow heartbeat sound. Soft tapping continues, gradually getting louder.